Do you track this number in your family law firm? This is one of the most important numbers that you could track to have tremendous amounts of growth without spending any more money, which is why I love this number, right? So book rate, and I even made a little sad face there because normally this is the number one culprit of why you're not getting sales and why your marketing isn't working and all that other bad stuff that happens, right? So first, let's just define what is book rate. So whenever someone calls in that is a new potential lead, we want to book those people on a calendar appointment or a Zoom call or an in-person consult, right? We're booking them for a consultation. And so generally how this looks is we get 100 calls a month, and then X amount of these calls book on our calendar, right? This is the first step in the sales funnel, not to be confused with the marketing funnel. This is our sales funnel. What happens after that is X amount of these people show up, which we're not talking about right now, and then X amount of these people close, right? And this is the basis for all your sales. And the reason they call it a funnel is usually it looks something like this, right? Where we have the most amount of leads up here, which is 100. Then we have books, shows, closes. Now, in a perfect world, we wouldn't have a funnel. We would have a nice cylinder where everybody that came into our firm came out the other end and paid us money. But unfortunately, that's not how the world works. So that is what book rate is how many of these intake calls get scheduled on your calendar. So how do you track book rate? It's actually super simple. I'll tell you here and then I'll show you how we track it for our clients. So first thing we want to do is however many people call and book, we just take that number and we write it down, right? In a scorecard ideally. So let's just say that out of 70 leads or out of 100 leads, 70 people book on our calendar. And you're probably like, well, what happened to the other 30? Those people could be spammers, those people could be unqualified, those people could be just asking information and then they're like, nah, I don't want to book a consultation or a free case evaluation, right? So 30% of them are just going to drop off. Now that is the KPI for book rate. And if you're having a book rate of 70% or higher, you're doing a great job, right? It means your marketing is dialed in and it means that your intake team is doing a fantastic job, right? So that's the KPI that we want to hit. So now that we've talked about what it is and how to keep track of it and what it should be, let me show you like tactically how we actually keep track of this number. So this is a CRM that we use for our clients, and it's a really, really great CRM. It's actually called Go High Level. You can literally buy this yourself, and we use it for our clients because it is very, very robust at tracking and keeping every single lead in here. And so what we do is we break out this CRM into the different stages. So this is the new lead stage. This is the consultation book stage. This is the consultation attended stage. We have a contract signed in here. Sometimes people will add like an appointment miss stage in here. Sometimes they'll skip this stage altogether and then they'll have their payment stage and then lost, right? And so this is how the CRM works. So the big trick here is every single lead in your firm needs to go into this stage here. Every single lead. So that's phone calls, that's spam calls, that's solicitors, that's crazy people, that's broke people. Every lead needs to go in that stage. That's a huge mistake that law firms make. They don't put every lead in there. And ideally, that lead is put in there automatically. So what we do for our clients is we use Zapier. So whenever someone calls into the firm, Zapier is like digital duct tape. It takes the call tracking software that we use, it tapes it to the CRM, and it passes the data across. Tape is a bad example. It's like a bridge. How about that? So it takes the call data, it bridges it over into the CRM, and it imports it in here automatically. And that is how we make sure every lead gets tracked. Now what happens is, I like to view this stage here as like the ER, right? It's like triaging a lead when it comes in. So someone comes in through the ER doors and we're like, oh my gosh, this person's having heart problems. Let's get them over to X-ray or wherever immediately and let's do some sort of scan on them, make sure they're okay, right? So that's like an immediate, we need to get this person over. Then we have people who come in who are just like, floating around kind of crazy, like, okay, you can sit in the waiting room, whatever, maybe you're not qualified. If we were mean at the ER, we'd be like, you're not qualified, leave, right? That's what we do at the law firm. And so that is what this stage is supposed to be like. So ideally, this stage here is empty at all times, right? If you are running a good ER, there's no one in the waiting room because you're triaging everybody and they're getting in and they're getting seen by a doctor. Same exact concept here. We want to triage everybody and get them over to this consultation book stage as fast as possible. So that is what you do to track it. And now how you actually add this number up, right? Because I pulled that nice 70 number out, is you just simply go in here and count these leads. So if I have 100 leads that have come through this stage and a bunch of them are lost, I just minus out the ones that are lost and I count how many have moved over, and that's how I get my rate. Now, this software here can actually do this for you. So if we scroll down, again, this is a fake pipeline, but most CRMs will do this for you. You can see that we've had X amount of new leads, we've had X amount of consultations booked, and it tracks all of this for you. So it gives you counts right here, right? So this is a fake CRM, this isn't client data. And so like I would have a count here of new leads, I would have a count here of consults, I'd have a count here, so on and so forth. And that's how I could populate a scorecard or some sort of tracking dashboard that you use to make sure you're on track or off track. So that is book rate. It's one of the most important numbers in your firm. It's usually one of the easiest numbers to fix, and it's usually the number that's messed up. So if this was helpful for you, let me know in the comments. Let me know what your book rate is, and if it's 70%, keep going.